Shalom, Facebook and YouTube. Shalom, TikTok. Let's get it rocking real quick. Tonight's topic is heaven and hell. We're going to get into it a little bit. Not trying to co-host. What's this button? We'll hold off on that. All right. Most High in Christ. Make sure we rock here. That, but I do want this. Heaven and hell. Heaven and hell. That's the topic for tonight. So any questions, feel free to ask. That's what we're going to get into a little bit right now. Good to go. Good to go. Good to go. Let's clap it up for the Most High in Christ. We are the Isupk out of 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible, history, archaeology, and anything else you may need for your understanding. I am a priest and officer Yawatham, and today is the Isupk Dayton law class. So the topic I wanted to get into a little bit was heaven and hell. Something that I have been pondering, but I really don't know if people understand the biblical concept of heaven and hell. I know we understand the movies and indoctrination and what religion tells us, but do we understand what the Bible says about heaven and hell? That is the question. So, Lord allow, by the end of this class, or maybe even the next, because I might make, part 1 and 2, you will know the biblical concept of heaven and hell. So let's get into it a little bit. Let's go to Matthew. Let's start here real quick. Matthew chapter 10. Let's go to Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. Of course, if anyone has any questions or comments, feel free to put it in the chat. Matthew 10. Matthew 10 and verse 28. So we'll start Matthew 10 and 28. We'll start at verse 27. What I tell you in darkness, that speak in light, and what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. Essentially, making sure you don't hide this truth. You understand everything that Christ preached and taught us, we are commanded to give to his people. And in Isupk, Lord allow, that's what we hold our hats on. That's what we do. We give it to the people straight from Christ, straight like how he gave it to us. We give it to the people. Now listen to this, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So now you want to know, what does that mean? Because to the common ear, what? That sounds like he said, yeah, that when you die, he's going to destroy your soul and your body in hell. See, you better not disobey. You better not. No, it's not saying that at all. It's not saying that at all. So let's break it down. 28. And fear not them which kill the body. Who kills the body? A man. You understand? Any common man can kill any common man or woman. That's who, mankind. That's who kills the body. You understand? But mankind does not have the power to kill the soul. And we're going to find out why a little later. But the reason mankind can't kill the soul is because a soul always regenerates. See, a soul understands when it comes down, it's given a body, and it knows that body is temporary. The soul knows this. You understand? You ever had some may call it well, it really is wisdom, but some may call it for women they may say a women's intuition, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that's correct all the time. Most of the time, it's all, if a woman's intuition is by emotion, it's off. But sometimes there is a women's intuition where they're looking at a situation and something is telling them this is not right. And there's oftentimes they're right. For men, you understand, we'll get a feeling. We'll get just something. It's almost like something in our ear telling us, hey, we don't need to do that. We don't need to be a part of that. That's the soul crying out, because the soul knows this body is temporary. The soul is going to go back. And the soul knows when it goes back, there's something that it's going to go back to have to deal with. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. So let's finish this up. Matthew 10 and 28. Fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So to give a quick breakdown on this, to kill a soul and a body in hell, you want to know what that is? Have you ever heard the term, man, I got this going on in my life, this happened, and then when this happened, that just dropped the boom. It crushed my spirit. It crushed my soul. The Lord can send anything. You understand? Anything our way. So guess what? When the Lord brings certain circumstances in our lives, that's him deteriorating or killing the soul. I'll give you an example. Let's say, God forbid, a parent or a child or a spouse gets cancer. It's killing the soul. Watching them die every day is killing the soul. I can give you an example. For the last 2 months of my father's life, he was in the VA. He was in a hospital. You understand? He was in a hospital, and my father was my God. That was everything. I didn't care about nothing because I always had him. Like literally, I never understood like how people didn't get along with their fathers or this. I'm like, man, if you had the father I had, life could have been good. My father was the bomb. But for the last 2 months of his life, I watched him deteriorate from stage 4 cancer. And every weekend I would go back, because I would go every weekend. Every weekend I would go back. He was a little bit worse, a little bit worse. Forgot a little bit more, forgot a little bit more. And watching him do that, knowing who he was, killed my soul. It destroyed it. But then you'll say, well, but you're here now. Yes, I am. But the guy that was there at that time is not here. The Lord destroyed him. This is the born again version of what the Lord intended from the womb. The born again version came from that, because with that, there was another account in my life that was destroying my soul also. Simultaneously, while that was going on, there was something else going on in my life at the exact same time. As I watched my father die, that was destroying my soul just as much, if not more. And I remember telling the Lord, listen, I have no power of nothing. First time in my life I ever felt powerless. I can't destroy nobody. Can't go hurt nothing. I just got to sit in this. And I had to embrace it. I had to feel it. Destroy me. I said, Lord, if you ever give me an opportunity to fight the devil face to face, please, I'll be the first one. Within about 1.5 to 2 years from that is when I found out about the truth. It's when I found out about the truth. And slowly but surely, the Lord started to shape me from being that person that he destroyed. Because for those 2 years or so, I was destroyed. There was no love. I was numb to everything. I was destroyed. But the Lord seemed fit to build me back up. And that's what it means. Man can unalive us. Well, so can the Lord. But man cannot destroy our soul. They don't have that power over us. But the Lord does. See, the Lord knows what makes you tick. The Lord knows, you understand, what makes you move, what makes you groove. And if he wants to call you and you're not listening, he knows how to get in touch. He knows what nerve to hit. So for about that 2-year period, as he was destroying my soul, I was just out here, lost in the sauce, until I found out about the truth. Now, fast forward to now, I'm in Isupk, and the Lord has built me up to help men or women that may have lost their father, that may have lost their mother, that may have lost their spouse. And it's only because I let the Lord bring me through that. How I felt at the time, I didn't want to go through it. Death was imminent. I'd rather prefer death at the time. But I got through it. And the Lord built me up to be the answer for anyone else of his children that have to go through that. That's what it means to destroy the soul. Only the Lord can do that. America tries to destroy our soul, but we keep rising. There's a poem or a song that says, they do this, but yet we rise. It's because they don't have the power to destroy our soul. Yeah, they can hurt us. They can unalive us. We can do a lot of things. But as long as we got each other, we keep the Most High first, guess what? They can't destroy our soul. And our soul is it's our engine. Our soul is what motivates. It's what moves us. Because that's where we find our one with the Most High. Because he gave us that. They can't destroy that. You understand? So I'll leave that right there. But let's get into it. So now let's understand what's really going on with this heaven and hell. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 3. So now we're about to get the breakdown of the cycle of life. About to get the breakdown of the cycle of life. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. Let's break that down. So, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. You know what? Let's start at Let's start at 15. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And God requireth that which is past. Listen to that, because you're going to need that to understand where we're about to go. It says, that which has been, meaning it was already here, is now. So it was here in the past, but it's now. That tree you see growing every year, it was there 20 years ago, whatever. Well, it's the same tree forming now. Same thing with the trees, same thing with plants, same thing with the cycle of rain, the cycle of everything, the cycle of any form of life. That thing that was is now, right? And that which is to be hath already been, meaning that which is about to be produced. So if you're about to have a baby, guess what? That baby had already been here. This is breaking down the cycle of life. Anything that has life goes through this cycle. This is the cycle of life. We're about to get into it. So it says, with that which is to be hath already been. Listen to this part. And God requireth that which is past. So that which is to be is already here, but once that thing that's already here passed, God required it. Meaning now God is going to judge how it did. Let's keep reading. Watch this. This is how you know that's what it's talking about. And God required that which is past. 16. And moreover, what? I saw under the sun the place of judgment. What's under the sun, people? What is under the sun? If you don't know, go outside and look up and tell me if you see the sun. The place of judgment is here on earth. This is where you live out the judgment. You don't die and go somewhere foreign that nobody knows about. That's what earth is for. This is where you live out the judgment of heaven and hell. You understand? It says, moreover, I saw in the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So you had wickedness here, and you had the place of righteousness. Both of them were in the place of judgment, which is here on earth. You see that? That's right there in the Bible. It's right there. Let's get some more though. Let's go to, where I want to go. Let's go to Psalms 104. Psalms 104. Psalms 104, verse 29. We'll start there. Psalms 104, verse 29. This is the book of Psalms 104, verse 29. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die, and return to their dust. So, as of right now, we understand it says the Lord hideth his face, meaning the Lord is not walking with us anymore. You find that in the law. You understand? In Leviticus, where he says he wouldn't be walking with us. So when he says thou hidest thy face, they are troubled, meaning the Lord ain't with the children of Israel no more because we walking contrary to what he wants. So therefore, we are troubled. That's when iniquity finds us, when we're not walking one with the Most High. You understand? So we are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die. And if you stay in that iniquity, you're going to die. You understand? So now we see, we live this life, we die, and return to the dust. I think everybody agrees with that. Even a Christian would agree with that. You die and return to the dust. Literally, they have a whole funeral where they watch them put you 6 feet deep. We agree. Cool. So, verse 30. Now, thou sendest forth thy spirit, meaning once that body is dead, the spirit leaves it because there's nothing left for the spirit to do there. The body's gone. The body's dead. You understand? And this goes to the first verse we read in Matthew 10 and 28, where it was talking about rather fear him that can kill the spirit and the body. Because even though we were lynched, even though we were unalived unjustly, that spirit didn't die. See what the other race doesn't understand is we're not going to go anywhere because you can unalive the body, but the spirit is going to go back to the Most High, and the Most High is going to send that same spirit you unalive back in another generation to come refill the earth. Can't get rid of us. We here. We ain't going nowhere. According to the Bible. Let's get some more. So it says, verse 30, thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. So it says, he sendeth forth the spirit, and we're created. So that means once the body is dead, the spirit goes to him. He sends the spirit back, and that's how creation happens, meaning a pregnancy. Now a baby will be born. You understand? And that's how he renews the face of the earth. Everybody goes through that cycle of life. I've been here before. Do not ask me who I was. I'm not going to tell you I was King David. I was Christ. I was anybody. Mattathias. Listen. The only thing I can guarantee you is I was an Israelite. That's all I know. I don't know who I was before, but I do know I was here, and I understand I was an Israelite. That is all I can vouch for. But just like I was here, so were you. This is your first time on this earth. That's the only thing I can guarantee about your life. This isn't the first time on this earth. Now, let's see. Where can we go? Let's get a little bit more. Let me see. Do I want to hit here? Let me see this. Up at the road. Oh no, let's go. Let's see. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7. Of course, anyone has any questions or comments online, feel free. I know this is definitely a little different, but again, if it's in the scriptures, that's what we got to hold true. Nothing more, nothing less. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. See, that's just to clarify that aspect. When we die, we return to the dust, and the spirit does what? Return to the Most High. And then, guess what? The Lord judges that spirit off the life you lived in that body it just had, and it sends it back accordingly. It sends it back accordingly. So if you lived a wicked life, you're probably going to be born in wicked conditions. If you lived a good life, you'll probably be born in favorable conditions. I know you don't believe me. Let's get in the Bible. Let's go to let's see Christ confirm this. Let's go see Christ. We'll go to Christ. Christ is going to confirm this. Let's see. Book of John, chapter 9, verse 1. Book of John, chapter 9, verse 1. We're going to watch Christ confirm everything we just broke down. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. So that's the context of this conversation. Jesus saw a man that was blind from his birth. If you're blind from your birth, what does that mean? That means as soon as you came out the womb, doing no good or evil, you were already what? Blind. All right. Hope we understand that. Verse 2. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin? So what's their question? They're asking, who sinned? Let's see why they're asking this. Who did sin? This man or his parents, that he was born blind? Now think about this. See, a lot of people don't understand. This is a conversation amongst the elite of this knowledge, the elite of the people of men in the truth. The disciples are asking Christ about who sinned. The man that was born blind from birth, never seen nothing a day in his life, from birth, born blind, or did his parents sin that he was born blind? That's the question they pose. Why would they pose that question? Because they understood everything we just broke down, even better than all of us. They understood the cycle of life. They understood that the Lord gives the spirit, a baby is born, that baby lives its life, and guess what? One day that baby will grow up, live, it will unalive, it will die just like all of us. And once it dies, the body will go back to the dust as we read, and the spirit will go forth to the most high God who sent it. That's the cycle of life. And guess what's going to happen? The Lord is going to judge that spirit off of the life it just lived and send that spirit right back here to earth, to the place of judgment, as we've read. That was understood amongst Christ and his disciples. That is understood amongst the men in the Isupk. So, with that being understood, you said, are all black African people the true Israelites? No natural African is an Israelite, because they are the seed of Ham. So you would be taken away from Africans' lineage to call them an Israelite. That would be disrespectful to Ham. They are the children of Ham. They are Hamitic. They have a whole rich history of who they are. So just like we don't want our lineage taken away from us, we can't take that away from them. To call them an Israelite would be disrespectful to their forefather Ham. So no, they're Hamitic. So now, back to the scriptures. So the disciples in Christ understood that this man could have been born blind because of his sin. So I ask, what sin could this man have committed if he was born blind? I give somebody 20 seconds. 20 seconds to give me some type of answer. What kind of sin could this man have committed to be born blind? And I'll give you a hint. Yes, there is a sin he could have committed. Does anyone know? What kind of sin did this man commit in John chapter 9 that could have made him born blind? About 5-10 more seconds. Why do you think you are not African? You don't even have to ask me. Ask an African, is the black man in America an African? They will tell you, no, they are not an Africans. They are not us. We are not the same. Even they know that. So you ain't got to ask me. Just go ask an African. That's all right. Just go ask. All right, so let's answer the question. What sin did that man commit to where he could have been born blind? The answer is, in the lifetime of him being born blind, there was no sin he could have committed. But in the generations or lifetimes before him, before his spirit regenerated, he probably committed a hell of a lot of sin. That brother was sinning. Ain't no telling what type of sinning he was doing. He could have been, guess what? He could have been doing anything, stealing, robbing, unaliving, whatever. You understand? But guess what? When his spirit got sent back to the Most High see whatever sin he was doing and said, you know what? Okay, then you can be born blind. Jesus and the disciples understood that was a valuable option. And this is how we know. This is how we know Jesus believed that was an option. And we know the disciples did. They asked the question. But this is how we know Christ believed that also. Jesus answered, neither has this man sinned, nor his parents. Meaning, he's affirming that, no, this man didn't sin, nor did his parents. But this is what you got to understand. Christ knew that it was an option this man could have sinned. That was a very valuable option. It's just, it wasn't that situation. Christ also understood it could have been his parents. They could have been doing so much sinning, so much wrongs, so much iniquity that their child was born blind. Christ understood both were options, which is why he answered to both of them. So no, this man didn't sin, nor did his parents. Yes, they were options, but that's not this situation. Meaning it could have been any situation. There are situations where somebody's born blind, and it's simply because of what they did in the regeneration or before their regeneration, in the lives before they had. So sometimes when you ask you, how did I have a child born like this? I thought I did everything right. Maybe you did, but maybe they didn't. It's an option. It's very valuable. It's possible. And once you understand this, guess what? Now, if you care about your kids and your kids' kids and the generations after you, guess what you have to do? You have to live a good life, because you don't want to be regenerated into one of your kids' kids that's born without a limb, that's born with a disability, that's born blind, that's born some kind of way, simply because you don't want to act right today. That's how deep understanding your culture is, understanding the importance of your own people is. You literally could be harming 2, 3, 4 generations down the road simply because you don't want to do right now. But the Lord's going to bring it back into regeneration. Quick sidebar. This, now that we understand that, if we understand that, this is why it says this in the book of Isaiah. Let's get to the book of Isaiah real quick. What's that? Isaiah 23? Is that what I want to know? Isaiah 49 and 23. Is that what I want? Hold on, I gotta find it. But we're about to go to the book of Isaiah real quick. Because now this is going to bring something together. Watch. This is going to bring this together. What all? All right. Isaiah 14 and 21. So listen to this. Isaiah 14 and 21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers. See? The Lord said, prepare slaughter for these heathens' children, for the iniquity of their fathers. What's the first thing a common white man or woman today will tell you? Well, I didn't have slaves. I don't believe in that. Your daddy regenerated, boy. He regenerated you just so he could get justice. Because he couldn't get justice in that life, you understand? He had the slaves. He was living high off the hog. But now you're here in this generation. And now you got to deal with priests and prophets like me and greater than me that's going to sit there to your face and tell you the judgment of God simply because of what your great-great-great-granddaddy did. And you know why? Because us as priests and prophets understand you are him. I know you don't get it, but you are him. You understand? That's the cycle of life. So why do we have to go through that? Because heaven and hell is not somewhere you're going to die and go to, because that would go against the scriptures. The scriptures literally said our bodies go back to the dust and our spirit goes back to God who gave it. Then we read the verse that says, once our spirit goes back, he sends the spirit back forth to replenish the earth. So that doesn't sound like there's a place or time in there where you're going to be going to heaven or hell for eternity. That's not how life works. This life you're living right now, as you breathe air, you're either experiencing heaven or you're experiencing hell. You want to know who's experiencing heaven? Donald Trump literally just put his name on a Navy ship and he never did a day in the military. And guess who he took it from? A black man that's in hell. Why? For one, he's unalive. He's not here no more. But two, the one little glory that black man was about to get, Donald Trump took that. That's what heaven and hell is. The judgment is right here. The place of wickedness was here, found here, like we read in the scriptures, and the place of righteousness. So, you want to know why we were told when you die, you're going to go to heaven or hell, because they wanted you to be good slaves. So we know if you be a good slave and obey master, God will have mercy on you. And then you're going to go to a heaven we couldn't even dream of. Oh, and everybody has power there. Yeah. That's what you tell a slave. You understand? That's what you tell a slave. But men and women that live in the spirit of God, we understand heaven and hell is right here. And right now, the children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're in hell. And you better wake up and realize that. Because the sooner you do, the sooner we can start making that heaven. I pray you understand. So I will break it down and I will do a part 2. We'll go more into actual situations in the Bible with heaven and hell, particularly hell. You had David, Jonah, a couple other prophets that spoke on and experienced hell. So we'll go into that. Make sure you keep this knowledge. Of course, got any questions or comments, feel free to hit me up anytime. With that, we're the Isupk, the 1 West 125th Street out of Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We teach blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans the truth according to the Bible. I'm Priest and Officer Yahweh Thumb, and that's my time. Shalom, Israel.